we strive to be an intersectional voice for the voiceless. As a Black-owned and operated station, we are committed to highlighting diverse perspectives and creating safe spaces for meaningful dialogue. We believe that everyone has something unique to bring to these political, economic, social, and cultural conversations, and we don't shy away from the hard conversations about current events. We endeavor to be a beacon of hope and understanding, while boldly challenging listeners to think more deeply about difficult topics that impact us all. With this in mind, our mission statement at KBLA Talk 1580 is simple: to create an inclusive platform that promotes civil discourse through honest dialogue and encourages personal growth among our listeners, so they can become the active agents of change. Our vision is to establish ourselves as the premier radio network with relevant programming across the beloved community, connecting people through shared experiences and collective power for lasting impact beyond these challenging times.
This is Black Hoodie Rap. There's no fear in my eyes what they looking at. Better look on map. Besides, me not like the eye fight. Me not think such a thing is worth a man's life. Right. But if a man
you are locked in to RSVP with Jill Munroe here on KBLA Talk 1580. Buckle up. We're in hour 2, Buttercups. Welcome in. Welcome in. We are getting it started. Of course, we're hitting all the trending topics and headlines here across entertainment, sports, lifestyle, and culture. I'm not alone. It is Wednesday, so we have our Keep It Real friend in the building, our weekly contributor, Trent Jackson. Trent, the artist. Always a good time.
Thanks for having me.
Of course, we always love to get your commentary. And it's Wednesdays, and I think Wednesday has become the unofficial day where we kind of dip into relationship subject matter a little bit.
No, that's just you being nosy and trolling me.
Is that what I'm doing? You think that's what I'm doing?
I'm totally harassing you.
Okay.
Because all of my captions, I am saying that she is like, I don't talk about anything I don't want to talk about. So
okay.
I'm harassing you.
So
I'm the one that's doing the trolling. You know what? I'm projecting.
You are trolling.
I'm projecting. Is
you
what
are
I'm doing.
trolling, and you are using me as a vessel to get it out.
And also projecting.
Okay.
Yes.
All right.
I'm gonna stop emotionally terrorizing you.
And I will continue to emotionally terrorize you weekly with these relationships.
It's all
topics.
good. You're gonna troll me and harass me until I get back together.
You're so good at it.
Yeah.
And you have so many thoughts. So
I do.
We must share.
Because I gotta let it out loud.
Really quick before we get into what we're gonna get into this hour, Andy, I wanted your opinion about Alan Hughes' comments, because you know, you like music. You know music well. You're a hip-hop guy. I know that you were grade school when those two guys were kind of going. No, I'm just saying. But do you think that there could have been a world where Jay-Z, Biggie, and Tupac could have coexisted?
Probably not.
Really?
Yeah.
Why not?
What you call it? Tupac and Biggie were just too big, especially Biggie being too big from Brooklyn. I mean, Jay-Z's name was popping around that time in '96, you know, but Tupac's name was just too heavy in the game. Biggie's name was too heavy in the game. Jay-Z most likely probably would have been that third wheel.
He would have been. I agree with that. But let me tell you why I think that there is more room than people think. I believe, I know, I'm going to say I know, but we'll say I believe, but I know that Tupac was going to move a little away from music. He was going to dip more into his acting bag. And there were some changes on the horizon. That's what I think. That's what I know, but that's what I think. You know what I mean? Can't prove it. Can't reference things, but I think that is why there would have been room, because ultimately I feel like Pac would have been moving into another space. So,
I can respect that. I think at the same time, even if Pac did go into acting, you know, people are tied to his music, and I think that he would still be involved, kind of like 50 to a degree. You know what I mean? He might drop a song here and there, you know, a song for a mixtape, a song
exactly.
for a soundtrack,
But that's
or
but
something
I
like
think
that.
that his core, like I agree with you. I think that he would have done those different things,
Yeah.
but I think that his heart, and knowing that he was a performing arts kid, you know, and that there were some things that I feel like that were challenging and that he wanted to do as far as acting, I think that you would have seen that transition for him, especially considering who his future father-in-law was. So,
Yeah, but also I will say this too: Tupac didn't like Jay-Z. So
okay.
if Jay-Z, you know, started to rise, I think.
Pac would have came back with Hit 'Em Up Part 2.
I mean, it would have been a Hit 'Em Up Part 2, or, you know, he would have been just, you know, kind of slandering Jay-Z's name. And, you know, with Pac's influence, people were going to ride with Pac, and people were going to be like, bump Jay-Z. Kind of like 50 and Ja Rule. You know, it like, stop acting like y'all was not rocking with Ja Rule.
Oh, I was rocking
what
with
would
Ja
I be
Rule.
without my you know what I'm
Holla
saying? Y'all was
Holla
rocking
was
with it,
my joint.
you know? And then 50 comes in the game, and people being fickle, you know what I'm saying? I'm riding with 50. 50 just destroyed Ja Rule. And you guys are acting like y'all weren't Ja Rule fans a year ago.
This is facts. This
So
is facts. The
so I
public can
think
be
that would
so
be the
switchy.
situation. Tupac would be the 50 and Jay-Z would be Ja Rule.
Okay. I could see that happening. I could see that happening a great deal. Well, Trent, I feel like this next topic you're going to appreciate. And I actually think that.
I'm so nervous right now.
Why are you nervous? Do
Because-
not be nervous. I think that you are going to agree with me and the individual. So, what we're going to do, right? 'cause
That
we're
you are
setting the
taking a
table.
big risk, because you know I really don't be agreeing with people. Yeah, come on.
I think to an degree you
Okay.
will. Well, so this is what I'm going to do. We're going to have this relationship-esque topic.
Oh
that's
my
coming
God.
up. We're going to talk about that. We're also going to get into Devon Franklin and him revealing how he had to take the time to mourn the loss of his marriage. We'll get into his comments. We're also going to talk about a new show that is coming that kind of sounds like a redo, but I'm curious to see where they're going with this. And we're going to talk about LA deciding on whether or not they should veto cashless businesses. It's an interesting prospect. All of that and more. You are locked into RSVP with Jill Munroe here on KBLA Talk 1580.
RSVP with Jill Munroe is your go-to show for staying in the know. More engaging conversation when we come forward on KBLA Talk 1580.
1 in 4 Americans today are living with a disability. I'm one of them. People with disabilities are extremely talented, resilient problem solvers that have so much to offer. And we've got a trusted ally on our side, an organization we can rely on, Easter Seals. Easter Seals is leading the way to full equity, inclusion, and access to healthcare, employment, and education for people with disabilities, families, and communities. That's my Easter Seals. Make it yours.
Learn more and get involved at easterseals.com.
I'm Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. I learned about atrial fibrillation the hard way. My symptoms would come and go: shortness of breath, fatigue. I kept going. Then I got so lightheaded, I couldn't. My doctor said I have AFib, so I'm about 5 times more likely to have a stroke. Other symptoms: irregular heartbeat, heart racing, chest pain can come and go, but the risk of stroke stays. If you have symptoms, tell a doctor. Visit notimetowait.com.
Sponsored by Bristol-Myers Squibb and Pfizer.
Dominique DePrima for KBLA Talk 1580. Are you worried about your credit score? Well, look, you can rebuild it. There are lots of factors that go into determining your credit score, but one of the most effective ways to improve your score is to consistently pay your bills on time over time. If you're forgetful about payments like me, try automating your bill payments. That way all your creditors get paid on time and you'll have freed yourself of trying to remember. Whatever your financial goals, U.S. Bank Access Commitment Initiatives can help support you in reaching them. Access your financial goals at usbank.com/access. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
Hey, Dad, how do airplanes fly? What's in this box? Is this tree good for climbing? How are babies made? What does this thing do?
Kids are curious about everything, including guns. Talking to them about gun safety in your home is a good first step, but you can do more. Always keep your guns locked, unloaded, and stored separately from ammunition. Safe gun storage saves lives. Learn how to make your home safer at endfamilyfire.org. That's endfamilyfire.org. Brought to you by End Family Fire, Brady, and the Ad Council.
This is KBLA Talk 1580. Talk radio. That's music to your ears. We're unapologetically progressive. KBLA Talk 1580. Hey. Keeping you informed, entertained, and always ahead of the curve. This is RSVP with Jill Munroe on KBLA Talk 1580.
You are locked into RSVP with Jill Munroe here on KBLA Talk 1580. Now, we mentioned that it was relationship conversation time, right? And so...
my favorite topic to talk about.
I know it is. So this individual, right? He's a sports journalist. Stephen A. Smith.
Oh, my God.
So, Stephen A. is very opinionated, right? So Stephen A. put out a snippet of a conversation that he and Shannon Sharp were having on Club Shay Shay, Shannon's podcast, where they were discussing relationship things, right? And so Stephen A. shared that when it comes to relationships, he's on a whole other level. Do we have that clip, Andy? Or no, I didn't send it.
Whoa.
I'm sad now because my emails didn't go through. Well, let's just talk about what he said, okay? How sad is that? So Stephen A. said that when it comes to relationships, the women he dates, they can't speak on it. They can't post him on social media. If they post him on social media, they're cut. It's a wrap. Done deal. No conversation. He said now if he's out and a friend or a family member, you okay?
I'm good. I'm just waiting till you finish because you always set me up with some stuff knowing you know what, this is your story, not mine. Go ahead and finish.
So
I'm going to go ahead and look away.
So he says like no deal, nothing, no exposure, no photographs. You post me, you're clean cut off, right? And so, there are some people that feel like that is extreme, that is the wrong approach. He says that once he's married, it's different. He didn't give his reasons for why, other than he's private, right? But that's how he said he rolls. So, for me, I'm Team Stephen A. I don't post anything in reference to that. I don't even reference those type of things anywhere on my social media, right?
You ain't the only one.
I know. And so...
see what she did there, y'all? Set me up.
I'm talking about me. This is what I do. And I feel like, most people don't expect to hear that from a woman. They think that most women want to show off their relationships and do all of that. You got a clip? Ooh, Andy is amazing.
He is.
Shout out to my email.
In a heartbeat that talks about my business. She utters my name.
What?
Publicly. About us. She gone. I wouldn't hesitate.
She happy for us.
I don't care. I don't care. You know why? Because I want you to know who my woman is. when she's Mrs. Smith. I'm talking about publicly.
Right.
I'm not talking about, Shannon gonna meet my girl.
Right.
Jamie's met my girl.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
I'm not talking about that.
Yeah.
I'm talking about announcing it, you see us and people talk. Oh no. Let them talk. You better not talk. I will cancel you quicker than you.
So she can't.
You get the idea. So this is my thing with it. While I agree with the sentiment, his tone and the way that he put that down, that is why he's getting all of the pushback. That is why he's getting the heat. Because just to say, just from a photograph, you're going to dismiss them, 86 them? Come on, I understand that you are a media personality. I understand that maybe your fans may not appreciate your choice in women, and that can make it hard on the relationship or on the woman, I also understand that if people don't know whether or not you're in a relationship, you can be out in these streets in any way you want to be. I'm not saying he does that. It's just an observation, right? Right. Something that happens, like any of that. But the way that it is presented, it's like, whoa, 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 buddy. Whoa, whoa, whoa. I feel you, but you are not the prize. But I think you feel like you're the prize more than the woman, and that she has no agency in this. That's just the way it feels. I like Stephen A. I don't like everything Stephen A., but I like Stephen A. I enjoy his commentary at times, but I just felt like his tone was wrong. But Andy, you have a comment, and then Trent, I want to hear your thoughts.
First off, we're both the prize.
Okay.
Straight up.
Okay.
As a guy, we're a prize as well too.
You are, but not more than me. So I'm just playing.
Fair enough. But we're both prizes.
Yeah.
I understand this reminds me of Noah Lyles and, his commentary about, the world champions and all that. What he said was true, right?
Right.
But it was his delivery, which turned people off. So I agree wholeheartedly 100% with Stephen A. Smith, but I also do understand your sentiments that, the whole canceler, that was a little bit extreme, you know what I mean? But I think what he said is fair. People got to understand, he's a business, not a businessman. If you watch that Club Shay Shay thing with him and Shannon Sharp, they talked about that. I'm not a businessman. I'm a business. So in a lot of ways, he has to protect his brand to a degree. We talked, what was it, last week or 2 weeks ago about Matthew Stafford and his wife.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? Like, you my wife, but man, you over here airing out, dirty laundry to a degree. You know what I'm saying? That's going to affect my work. So, look, I'll say this. The fact that he would go ahead and cancel somebody because of a post, he might be losing on to something that could be great, right?
I agree. Yep.
But once again, I think he's looking at it like this is business first. John Cena, wrestler. I don't know if y'all familiar with, his relationship status, but there was this one show called Total Divas.
Yep.
He was dating,
Nikki Bella or one of those.
Nikki Bella.
Yep.
Made her sign a contract. You know what I'm saying? In order to date John Cena, you have to sign this contract. Like, what do they call it? A DBA or whatever? NDA. There you go.
Non-disclosure agreement.
You know what I mean? And I just remember that being a big deal.
Here's the thing about those, because I used to advocate for those for my athlete friends. But there's a couple of things that come along with that. Like, obviously, that worked for one of the Bella twins, right? And I even, we talk about it now, that women should sign those and, the athletes or whatever. But here's part of the problem. One, if you don't have anything, you have nothing to lose. So you're signing this, but what they gonna hit you in the head for? You don't have anything. So there's that aspect of it, right? But there also is the thing that, and this I'm being serious about, because of the Me Too stuff and everything like that, NDAs, especially in regards to certain situations like that, are kind of tricky now. A lot of them have been challenged in court, their validity, if they are legal and things of that nature. So, things might roll a different way in the future, but Trent, we've been waiting long enough. And I feel you over here like, maybe she'll keep talking. Maybe she
Yes,
won't.
maybe she will.
Maybe she won't get into me and
Yeah.
this topic, but I want to hear your thoughts.
I forgot what we were talking about.
We are talking about, listen, I can freely tell you, we were Stephen A. Smith
I
said
know
that
what we're
he would,
talking about.
okay, just in case you needed a recap.
I know what we were talking
I'm here to
about.
help.
I totally agree with Crazy Steven because I share the exact same sentiments, and I knew that you were setting me up for this because you knew that I was going to I think you're going to agree with me and Stephen A. You knew exactly that I was going to agree because what y'all don't know is that when we ain't on air, we be talking sometime. So she knows we had a specific conversation about this. You will never, ever, yes, you will never, ever see any of the people that I'm dating at any time because you don't.
So let's be clear. Not me personally. He means the people.
Yes.
Y'all shared this on there before, though.
Yes.
Oh, okay.
So if you see them and you happen to like just be around, like my last relationship, it was very much an open secret. Like people, if you were around and you saw it, you knew, but there wasn't any like announcement on the internet. Like what you don't know.
Like, here's the thing.
And you don't need to know until like it's a serious situation, like a wedding or something like that. And then because when you let people into a relationship,
things can happen.
It gets tricky.
People can put
it gets tricky
like,
and messy.
Like you were projecting onto me,
yes.
saying I was trolling. People will troll their
yes.
issues and their perceptions and problems.
So I'm very much into keeping my relationships private, but I also tend to date people who are very private. So it doesn't really
works out. It doesn't matter.
It doesn't even come up as an issue. And then when we're out of town or I see like I don't want to post or I'm posting your back only or a thigh or something like that.
See,
it's
I don't do that.
It's
like,
more
I'm not
fun.
that girl. I'm not giving you the teases. I'm not doing like a hand, a forearm.
None of that either. I'm not giving that either. But sometimes.
You just gotta wonder. Maybe I'm with somebody. Maybe I'm solo.
And because people, he is a public person. I genuinely get just wanting to keep something private for yourself.
Yeah,
I totally get that. And I don't see an issue with anything he said. I think that he was just being braggadocious and extra for the air, like he always is in his delivery.
I get it, but
he meant nothing by it.
No. Here's the thing. I would not say he meant nothing by it, because this is what I will say. I watch a lot of Stephen A. I watch Stephen A.'s podcast on YouTube occasionally. And what I will say is this, and I say this not in a critique sort of fashion of him, just open-ended. I make this statement about a lot of Gen X men. They are the last sort of, maybe some late millennials, but, the misogyny is strong. And I don't even think sometimes they realize it because these were the rules of the game coming up, right? And it's just, this is how it was. This is what defines a man and his actions. This is what defines, women and their actions. This is how things should go. And so a lot of times when he makes some statements, I very much understand that it is coming from a Gen X man, late 60s, early 70s. I think Stephen A. is like 55, right? So I feel, and Shannon Sharp is around that age too. And there's just certain beliefs that come from being born in that era that, some may change, some may be, think a different way. But if you talk to a Gen X guy, these things are kind of the same. It's what it is. I am not here to judge because I'm not in the situation with you. So ultimately, it doesn't matter to me what you do. I'm just saying you sound a little tricky, but I agree with you. And ultimately, a relationship is between two people. And whatever they determine, whether that's marriage, dating, whatever they determine is fair and in grounds and what they deem respectable, that's what works. So, I don't know. Pretty Brown Mimi says, Trent, you need to understand there's a difference between privacy and secrecy. That's what she hit you with in the chat.
She is trolling from the last time we had that conversation on the show because that was you don't remember that?
That was the thing.
That was
I
our,
do remember
that was our
that.
thing.
Yeah. What is the difference?
I love it.
Yeah.
Because there is a difference.
There is a difference. I'm private. I'm not secretive.
I'm both.
You both?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, Andy.
I got to get on Mimi's head just a little bit.
Okay.
Mimi's the main one to be talking about celebrities to, stop airing your laundry.
Right.
Now you have a celebrity who wants to keep things private. Now, I don't know if you're joking, being funny or whatnot, but, this is a situation where he doesn't want to air his laundry out there. You know what I'm saying? I don't look at that as secrecy. I look at that as being private. There was a comment, this topic was discussed on the, on the previous program. Somebody commented that, you don't even know about Steve. Shout out to Robin Ayers. Somebody had made a comment about, you don't even know about Stephen A's children.
You know what's funny? So, The Best Man, the final chapters came out on Peacock last December, and they had the red carpet for it. And so I was covering it, and I was like, why is Stephen A. Smith here? That seems so random, right? And so he had a young lady with him, and I was like, that doesn't look like a date situation. And so but they're going down the carpet. Stephen A. Smith's daughter was in The Best Man, the final chapters.
Oh, really?
She played the older daughter to Murch. Is that Harold Perrineau's character and Regina Hall? She played their older daughter in The Best Man, the final chapters series that just came out last December.
And if my memory serving me correctly, she was the one there was like the party scene and the sun was coming out. They were like, he was kind of in drag.
I'm going to be honest and tell you that I don't remember in that much detail, but I know she was their daughter. I know there was a scene where they were in a restaurant before they were leaving to go to the island, and she was having a conversation with her parents because they were, she's growing up. I think she wanted to wear something in particular or something like that.
I want to watch it again. That was a good series.
It was, but yeah, so that's his daughter.
Wow, who knew?
Right, me. Because that's why you're here.
Because you're a TV and film critic. Yes, I forgot who I was dealing with.
You're dealing with Jill
My
Munroe.
bad.
That's why you're in RSVP. That's
Hello.
why you are SVP, to get those little inside details. So, yeah, I'm with you, Stephen A. Also, Stephen A. has some other things in the news this week. As you know, if you are a Charter customer, you have lost Disney, ABC, and that includes Spectrum, ESPN. And, did I mention that the NFL season starts tomorrow, right? So they've called out the big guns. Stephen A. posted a tweet. He supports the corporate position. And, he is saying that, don't know if you heard, but all the news going on in the charter markets with Spectrum, but folks, once again, are coming after the worldwide leader. Fans don't have access to live games on ESPN Network, any content from Disney-branded channels, Freeform, FX, and Nat Geo. So he's like, if you are personally affected and want to see your ESPN games live, you need to hit up this website. So, they're going full out. They are breaking into the big dogs here. When we come forward, we'll have more trending topics and headlines. We'll get on Devon Franklin talking about addressing the pain and mourning the loss of his marriage. We'll also have more, little relationship ditties and things across entertainment, sports, lifestyle, and culture. You're locked in to RSVP with Jill Munroe here on KBLA Talk 1580. News and sports is up next.
I Brooklyn Dodger them. I jack, I rob, I sin. Oh man, I'm Jackie Robinson. Except when I run base, I dodge the pen. Lucky me, luckily they didn't get me. Now when I bring the next.
Trending topics and the hottest happenings. You're listening to RSVP with Jill Munroe on KBLA Talk 1580.
I'm Doug Davis, and here's the latest from the Black Information Network. Federal prosecutors plan to indict Hunter Biden by September 29th on gun charges, according to a court filing. The president's son had agreed to a plea agreement that would have spared him jail time for allegedly purchasing a gun as a drug user. The deal had Hunter Biden entering a diversion program, but the agreement fell apart in court in July. That plea deal also included tax evasion charges, but it's unclear where those now stand. Chicago's temporary casino could open very soon. Bally's has scheduled practice gaming sessions to take place at Medina Temple for the Illinois Gaming Board today and tomorrow. If all goes well, the casino could open this weekend. The temporary location will operate until a permanent one is built at the location of the former Chicago Tribune printing plant in River West. And that is the latest. I'm Doug Davis from the Black Information Network and BINnews.com.
Lowe's knows how to save pros time and money. Right now, save $50 on select DeWalt power tools. Lowe's knows savings. Lowe's knows pros. Offer valid 8/1 through 10/28.
KBLA Talk 1580 is dedicated to empowering our communities by providing progressive talk radio for our audience. We strive to be an intersectional voice for the voiceless. As a Black-owned and operated station, we are committed to highlighting diverse perspectives and creating safe spaces for meaningful dialogue. We believe that everyone has something unique to bring to these political, economic, social, and cultural conversations, and we don't shy away from the hard conversations about current events. We endeavor to be a beacon of hope and understanding, while boldly challenging listeners to think more deeply about difficult topics that impact us all. With this in mind, our mission statement at KBLA Talk 1580 is simple: to create an inclusive platform that promotes civil discourse through honest dialogue and encourages personal growth among our listeners, so they can become the active agents of change. Our vision is to establish ourselves as the premier radio network with relevant programming across the beloved community, connecting people through shared experiences and collective power for lasting impact beyond these challenging times.
The Black Hollywood Education and Resource Center proudly presents its 25th annual Real Black Men Short Film Showcase, September 22nd through September 24th. Join us for the opening night celebration on Friday, September 22nd, and enjoy the short film showcase featuring 47 films by emerging black male directors from across the country. Continuing on Saturday, September 23rd and Sunday, September 24th. All events will be held at the Regal LA Live Cinemas, 1000 West Olympic Boulevard in downtown Los Angeles. For more information and tickets, visit bherc.org. That's bherc.org, or call 323-957-4656. That's 323-957-4656. Don't miss your chance to celebrate excellence in black cinema all weekend long at the Real Black Men Short Film Showcase. See you there.
Dominique DePrima here. Having a good credit score is one critical step to obtain a loan to buy a home. But did you know that your credit score is just one factor in getting a mortgage loan? Think about this. Lenders also consider your income, your employment history, current monthly debts, the size of the loan, and the amount of your down payment. Whatever your financial goals, U.S. Bank Access Commitment Initiatives support you in reaching them. Access your personal financial goals at usbank.com/access. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
KBLA Talk 1580. We've got a lot to talk about.
KBLA Talk 1580 joins you in standing for education as a right, not a privilege. Charles R. Drew University of Medicine and Science is a private, non-profit, community-founded, student-centered university committed to cultivating diverse health profession leaders who are dedicated to social justice and health equity for underserved populations. CDU does this through outstanding education, clinical service, and community engagement. Recently, Charles Drew University made history by opening only the 5th medical school at an historically black university. Congratulations, South LA, and congratulations to the Dean of the medical school, Dr. Deborah Prothos-Stith. CDU is now training doctors and providing $90 million in annual economic benefit to Watts and surrounding neighborhoods. To apply for medical school, get more information, or sign your child up for the Junior Doctors Saturday School program, visit cdrewu.edu. That's cdrewu.edu. At KBLA, we are dedicated to equity in education and ending healthcare apartheid. And we don't black down. This is a community call to action from KBLA Talk 1580.
This is KBLA Talk 1580. Talk radio. Let's music to your ears. We're unapologetically progressive. KBLA Talk 1580. Curating the most compelling stories and delivering them straight to your ears. You're listening to RSVP with Jill Munroe on KBLA Talk 1580.
No, that's why I was like, wait a minute, he's
But he's thinking about me.
So they that think about another lover and go find another. I know he's my man. He's all in my hands. It feels good when he calls my name.
92?
You wish you had the same.
Feeling disgust, working your stuff. Andy, I do not even know why. Maybe I do. Because Stephen A. said he doesn't like to be walking down the street and hear guys talking about, yo, I used to be with her or something, whatever. But Moke and stuff, I think it was like Monique, Kenya, and Stephanie. You know, I actually went to summer school with the Kenya girl one year. We took a like statistics class together, so stuff like way back in the day. Shout out to Forensic Accountant for knowing the year 1994.
Yeah, because I was like, what year was it? I said 92.
94 in the building. Urban Spinster is like, child sharing a man song. Listen, we were young, very young at the time when this came out, and you know, it wasn't about sharing a man, it was about a competition. Who's gonna beat who out? That's the way it was. And baby, Moke and Steph, they were like, I'm not losing. What, give up my man to you? Why? What? After I done built him up and trained him up? You know, that's how women used to think. But now, some of them have evolved past that, and some of them are ready for war.
Definitely Urban Spinster has evolved past that.
I know, you know.
I love her so much. She's so funny to me.
It was such a time period. It was the 90s. Things were different.
It's so different.
You were locked into RSVP with Jill Munroe here on KBLA Talk 1580. And of course, this is a show where we talk all the trending topics and headlines. And right now, we are talking about, you know, relationship stuff. Are you private? Are you secretive? Is social media a deal breaker? At what point do you have those conversations, though, in a relationship? Do they just come up like if you're out on your ice cream date or your $200 date? When do you ask those questions? Do you look back through their social media and question? Because, I mean, really, I really don't know.
It comes up as like you said, like, you know, for, what's your Insta or what's, you know, it comes up during that conversation. I'll keep, you know, my last relationship. I remember we exchanged socials and I made the comment. I was like, oh, you never post. And it was like, nah, I don't post nothing. I'm like, what? So, you know, but then there was a moment we were out and a post went up and I wasn't aware that the post had gone up, and that kind of freaked me out because I was like, wait a minute, I just posted something too. So what if somebody that both follows us sees this and they put two and two together because people was investigators? I was like, somebody got to take this post down because this is too much.
A lot of thought in that. Look,
next time, tell me if you're going to be posting something from my car, please, because people know this car.
Oh, okay. Listen.
Not that anybody's like looking, but like,
but apparently you.
But here's the thing: as a person who attracts DL men and men that are typically closeted, it's like you're hanging out with a known homosexual. So I'm trying to protect you in this situation.
Oh, you being the friend.
Yes.
Okay.
So I don't want people coming up bringing you heat because you think that it's cool to like ride around in a Range Rover and post pictures. Like, chill, relax. Like, come on, like, be cool.
Okay.
Because you're gonna have people asking you questions, and you don't live this life, so you're not ready for that smoke.
Okay. Do you want more questions about this?
You can if you want.
I'm just playing.
Like, let's go.
I'm just playing.
What's up?
Shout out to Morningside High. That's where Kenya, Moke, and Steph. I'm not sure where the Mo or the Steph went, but I believe Kenya. She went to Morningside High, class of 93 or 94. And shout out to Tia for reminding me of that.
That's so
and
funny.
Her husband. So, yeah, I think it's interesting. We are dealing with, as far as relationships, something totally different than in our youth or, that our parents dealt with this whole added layer of social media, especially because there are expectations that may have been around in more casual conversation, but we didn't necessarily see them in practice the way that we do now. And I think it's stifling to a degree, how people progress. But speaking of being very public on the internets about a situation, and I don't know if this necessarily counts, but Pastor Devon Franklin.
Oh, Devon Franklin.
He often speaks of his own personal triumphs, his challenges, and things of that nature when he speaks. And so he has a 3-part series called One of One. And it is titled Unmarried and Unbothered. It's at the Potter's House Church, right?
Not Unmarried and Unbothered.
Unmarried and Unbothered. And so when he was speaking recently, he broke down to the congregation a gem that he said he learned while moving on from his 10-year marriage to actress Megan Good. He said, I had to take the time to mourn the loss of my marriage and say, God, I don't understand why this happened, what was going on. He said, but he was spiritually led to understand that there are some things in life that he would never get the full answer to. He believes that he's required to trust that things will work out for their good, the greater good, that's scripture, right? And that even the breakups that you didn't pray for are somehow for the good. And he also went on to say that beating themselves up over the dissolution of a relationship, but God planned to use that relationship and that breakup to build you up. It's okay to acknowledge the loss, he said, but get to the healing process, because it is in the feeling that's where the healing is. And I can't be delivered from my broken heart if I don't acknowledge that my heart was broken. So I thought that was an interesting conversation. Do you think that at times we are in denial of our feelings, or do you think most people tend to give in to them as far as, breakups and relationships? Because of course, there was the old saying back in the day, the best way to get over a man is to get under him and under a new one or something like that. And it is a distraction, but at some point you have to, feel the feeling. But what are your thoughts?
You have to be honest and feel. And I think that we live in a society where there's a lot of distractions from your actual feelings, so you don't have to feel them or deal with them. I was a victim of that earlier this year. And it took a minute for me to come to the conclusion and accept what was actually happening. But you have to do it at some point if you want to move on.
It's so interesting because I think too, and not that this is something that's new, but I think some people get addicted to letting heartbreak define them, And I say that by, of course, you're going to be cautious if you experience a certain type of heartbreak or a certain type of situation. You might be leery to step into something that looks similar to it or whatever. But I think that sometimes we take on these traits of victimhood when it comes to relationships, or, kind of a self-fulfilling prophecy where we automatically assume, like, I understand keeping your guards up, but the assumption and the automatic accepting that, oh, this is the way it's going to be forever, I think is very detrimental. And I think that it has become, in some ways, a badge of honor, to wear that grief or that stain
But
not just acknowledging it, but I feel like hanging on to it and using it as a crutch as to why you won't move forward.
Yeah, that's just you didn't heal properly, and you're choosing not to heal. Once you heal properly, those kind of things tend to be alleviated. It's all about proper healing and making sure that you deal with everything and really, mourn your relationship before you jump into something else.
Okay, I agree with that. But everybody has to learn how to heal and mourn. That's another thing. People don't
Yes.
always know how to get through it. So, if you need help with that, go to Voice of Reason with Zoe Williams. He'll have some advice for you for sure.
And his callers.
Shout out to Urban Spinster. She says SAGs definitely bed hop versus allowing themselves to heal.
Uh-oh.
It sounds like you've been victimized by a SAG, Urban Spinster. We'll get into that and more trending
Maybe her
topics and
sister's a SAG.
headlines. All of that and more. You are locked into RSVP with Jill Munroe here on KBLA Talk 1580.
Infusing a sense of fun and entertainment in every episode. You're listening to RSVP with Jill Munroe on KBLA Talk 1580. More when we come forward.
The Los Angeles Urban League helps African American and others in underserved communities achieve true social parity, economic self-reliance, and civil rights. For over 100 years, Los Angeles Urban League has ensured our communities have access to careers with living wages, opportunities to start and grow businesses, and clear pathways to personal and professional growth. Programs like BizCamp, Construction Career Academy, Bob Business Ready, and B-Warp. The Black Wealth Attainment and Retention Program are examples of the ongoing events designed to make our centennial mission to rebuild Black Wall Street right here in LA a reality. To sign up for our newsletter or to support the Los Angeles Urban League with your time, talents, and donations, visit laul.org. That's laul.org. The Los Angeles Urban League is a proud sponsor of Urban Family Focus, Saturdays at 7 a.m. on KBLA Talk 1580.
I'm getting vaccinated with Prevnar 20.
So am I, because I'm at risk for pneumococcal pneumonia.
If you're 19 or older with chronic conditions like asthma, diabetes, COPD, or heart disease, or are 65 or older, you are at increased risk for pneumococcal pneumonia. Ask your doctor or pharmacist about Prevnar 20, pneumococcal 20-valent conjugate vaccine. It can help protect you against pneumococcal pneumonia in just one dose. Even if you've already been vaccinated with other pneumonia vaccines, Prevnar 20 may help provide added protection. Prevnar 20 is approved for adults to help prevent infections from 20 strains of the bacteria that cause pneumococcal pneumonia. Continued approval may depend on a supportive study. Don't get Prevnar 20 if you've had a severe allergic reaction to the vaccine or its ingredients. Adults with weakened immune systems may have a lower response to the vaccine. Side effects include pain and swelling at the injection site, fatigue, headache, muscle, and joint pain. For full prescribing information, please call 1-855-213-2138 or visit Prevnar20.com.
KBLA Talk 1580. We've got a lot to talk about.
KBLA Talk 1580 joins you in standing for voting rights. When We All Vote is a leading national nonpartisan initiative on a mission to change the culture around voting and to increase participation in each and every election by helping to close the race and age gap. Created by Michelle Obama, When We All Vote brings together individuals, institutions, brands, and organizations to register new voters across the country and advance civic education for the entire family and voters of every age to build an informed and engaged electorate for today and generations to come. When We All Vote empowers their supporters and volunteers to take action through voting, advocating for their rights, and holding their elected officials accountable. Please visit whenweallvote.org to stand up for your rights, voting rights. This is a community call to action from KBLA Talk 1580.
Now back to more captivating conversation on RSVP with Jill Munroe.
You are locked into RSVP with Jill Munroe here on KBLA Talk 1580. So I told you, the YouTube chat, they always have a lot happening.
I love a YouTube chat.
We do. We especially do. Pretty Brown Mimi wants to know, so Megan Good went from Devon Franklin to Jonathan Majors. It wasn't exactly a straight line, but yeah.
I think that's a stunt. Are we still considering that like a real relationship?
Here's the thing, right? Right now it is. It did seem a little wiggly when it started, but this is, you know what we should consider, right? allegedly, when the initial situation happened that caused Jonathan to go to court, by the way, that court date has been pushed out once again because there are some issues with discovery. So, we don't know what might be happening with that. It could go away. However, it was said that one of the things that might have set the woman that is accusing him of the incident was allegedly her being in his phone and him talking to other women. Who's to say who the other women were? Right? We
True.
don't know. So, that's just a thought. Shout out to Urban Spinster who says,
Love her.
remember when we used to say killer about a rival high school in LA? So gangbangy LA is. I mean,
It is low key, but it's not real. I just banged on Andy, and he was like,
I mean, it's a thing.
Yeah,
I think
it's-
that's part of our love language.
he did bang back.
And he banged back. That's our love language.
I love it. What school did you go to, Urban Spinster?
Yeah, sure. Let us know.
Let us know.
We like to shout out those things. Really quick in an update. Do you guys know who Flying a Boss is? You've seen their video. They're running through various places, in the streets, rapping their lyrics. I be Michael Phelps with all the brand deals I'm swimming in.
No.
Hello, Christ. I'm about to sin again. I just told this man I loved him. Anyway.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, you have to check it out. They're on social media. The
I'm about
song
to
is pretty
sin again,
catchy.
girl, what?
And they're running through all of these various places saying their rap lyrics, and it's really cute. Well, anyway, they've dropped a remix, and they have a hip-hop legend on the remix with them. And when I tell you she sounds fire and she is spitting, you need to go check that
Dylon
one
got
out.
that fire?
Huh?
Dylon got that fire?
Dylon got that fire. It is Missy Elliott.
Oh,
So it's the You Wish remix. And Missy's dropping bars. Now, obviously, I'm going to get this wrong. I just heard the snippet really fast. But appreciate the bars and imagine that they come together correctly. So she said something, who wants to go up in a versus? That's what I thought. You got to hear it. Because it's way cooler than what I just gave you.
Andy, find it and play it for us.
It has some bleeps in it. There's some curses in it because I was about to send it to Andy, but there's a lot of bleepies, and I don't know if we have that time tonight. But check it out. Missy tweeted it out, so you can go to her. I'm sure it's on her Instagram as well to check it out. Check out a snippet and let me know what you think. So Urban Spinster says, this is funny because, we continue to get on SAGs. It's been like every week the topics of SAGs.
I don't think Megan or Devon either one of them are SAGs.
No, Megan's a Leo.
I think Devon is
But we were talking
Aries,
about SAGs
Pisces.
because somebody prior to.
Oh, she went to Westchester.
Who went to Westchester?
Urban Spinster.
Did you? Girl.
Oh, that makes so much sense now. Oh my God, you should go to Westchester.
Be quiet, Trent. Shout out to you, Urban Spencer. I probably know some of your people. Anyway, she says that she was definitely a victim she is a survivor, not a victim, a survivor of a SAG.
So am I.
But she knows female SAGs who bed hop too. I do. I remember when my youth, I had a friend who was active.
I'm not even going to talk about Sagittarius females. I think I'm being baited every time somebody brings up a Sagittarius female.
It's triggering for you?
It is.
Okay.
They could be watching.
Move around. All right, move around. Be free. So,
because here's the thing. Like, why are you trying to be my friend again after you done already pulled this crazy mess? Like, just leave me alone. Like, let's just move on. Like, there's no need to like be friends on socials. Like, you don't need to catch up with what I'm doing. Like, we good. Like, come on, just stop playing mind games with me. Go.
Okay.
Find you a boyfriend or something.
Well, I mentioned that there is, and coincidentally, I believe that this person is a SAG.
Oh my God.
Anyway, Deshaun Jackson, a former NFL player, he is starting his own series. I'm not sure what it's going to be.
Isn't he from LA?
He is from LA.
Didn't he have a restaurant back in the day, Rain?
No, that's Keyshawn Johnson.
Okay, wrong person.
Keyshawn Johnson.
Okay.
Deshaun Jackson.
It's late. I'm hearing
is
the same name.
Like 12, 13 years younger.
Later.
And maybe more than that. Went to Long Beach Poly, though, is a football star. They played, I think they're both wide receivers. So you had that much.
Yeah. I
right.
mean, like,
so there used to be a show back in the day called Pros versus Joes, where they would get pro athletes. And you know how, like, regular guys always think, yo, if I got the chance, I was nice in high school. I could score a couple buckets on dude. I could catch a pass from da-da-da-da. And they would go out and compete against these people and see that it's not a game when it comes to the pros. Well, apparently Deshaun Jackson is starting up his own version of that, and it's called Pros versus Bros. So I guess that all the pro athletes featured in his are going to be black, right? And so basically you can compete against him and other pro athletes in drills for cash prizes. So they had the first event today in LA. I'm not sure what the outcome was, but I'll get that information for you. I'm sure that the content was recorded for airing somewhere, but he advertised it on Twitter. He had a sign-up sheet where you could go and register, and I don't know how they selected the contestants based on that sign-up, but it's out there, and I'm sure we'll see that content soon.
That sounds exciting and fun.
Sounds kind of interesting, right? So if you were in LA, right, you've seen there are some stores that are cashless, right? You cannot go in there and give them $1 and get 4 quarters back. You cannot break a 10. You can't do anything with cash, right? And so across the nation, obviously, Americans' usage of cash has declined quite a bit, right? Especially considering coming off of the pandemic and all of those things that happen. But there's no federal law that states that businesses have to accept cash. But some cities want to make sure that they keep the cash flow going, right? So this month in LA, lawmakers proposed a ban on cashless businesses. They're arguing that they exclude people with low incomes, older adults, or communities that are familiar with not having accurate or adequate banking services, check cashing communities. So they've already passed in cities like San Francisco, New York, Philly, and DC. Right now, well, I guess in 2021, cash payments only made up 20% of all U.S. payments. That's a drop from 31% in 2017, right? So as of October of last year, 4 in 10 Americans were no longer using cash at all in the average week. And Square said that in the first year of the pandemic, U.S. cashless businesses more than doubled. So cashless businesses also have other perks. The lack of paper currency discourages theft because you can't steal it, right? It's more efficient, so you don't have to transfer it to a bank. There's no storage costs. And, people paying with cards tends to be better for businesses because people tend to spend more when they use their card as opposed to if they're paying cash. So those are just some things to consider. There's also the transaction fees that companies like Visa and Stripe and so forth make on digital payments. Apple Pay is becoming more frequent. So let me know, what are your thoughts on utilizing cashless payments? Do you have any thoughts? No? We're thinking about it? Or you want to tell me when we come forward? Because it's almost time for hour 3, the after hours, where we get into some things. We're going to get into our to-be movie review. We're going to hear what Trent the artist thinks about cashless LA. And of course, more trending topics and headlines, and more relationship stuff to torment Trent with, as we love that. You were locked into RSVP with Jill Munroe here on KBLA. Talk 1580. News and sports is up next.
Up here.
KBLA 1580 Santa Monica.
I'm Doug Davis, and here's the latest from the Black Information Network. Federal prosecutors plan to